Sujith, you are going first.
Thanks, Ramana, and thanks, Maureen. Hi, folks. My name is Sujith. I am from Cochin in India, and my startup is called Gigsport. Essentially, what I'm building is a platform that can actually enable predictable outsourcing and remove a risk from outsourcing in a platform-based manner. So essentially, what we are trying to do is to enable an Upwork like a engagement model, but for outsourcing rather than freelancing. The problem space is that 70% of projects fail to meet commitments, the scope, quality, timeline, cost, etc. But effective project management can actually bring this down to under 20%. And the overall volume of the IT outsourcing in the SMB space where I'm targeting is targeted about 156 billion as per Statista, with a CAGR of about 11.07% up to 2028. The Gigsboard solution is a platform with a built-in project management tool that incorporates features from Agile, Scrum, Kanban, and Lean to enable end-to-end clarity and traceability of scope, speed of alignment, transparency of work status across the entire team, and trust and win-win. And end of the day, what we are trying to do is make projects successful predictably. Can we go to the next slide, please, Ramana? And we do have a 5-year vision. The vision is that I believe that the future of talent is basically on-demand project teams, so which means that only core functions would be hired long-term, and the supporting or augmenting resources would be added on a projectized basis. And for this to actually become effective, we need basically 3 things to happen. One is there has to be a very strong on-demand talent discovery and engagement model. There has to be predictable projects execution, and there has to be a lessons learned capture and reuse, because knowledge management will be critical in this scenario. Move on to the next slide. The founding team is me, who's a CEO. I have more than 32 years of industry experience, mostly with IBM, TCS, and Boeing, etc. My CTO is also an ex-IBMer. He was the executive architect at IBM Software Labs. He comes with about 28, 29 years of experience. And we also have guides. I have actually deliberately not called them advisors because these are informal engagements and not formal advisors. And the problem statement is that there is a lot of lack of reliability and predictability in IT contracting. It is due to 2 things primarily. One is the right team not being engaged, and second is because of the lack of clear and efficient project management. Move on, please. As we can actually move on to the next slide. This actually covers the the volume aspect, and I would actually like to spend more time on the help needed. So this is the volume. The TAM is 411 billion, which is the size of IT outsourcing business, and the SAM is 156 billion. And what I have actually assumed is 0.5% of the SAM as SOM, which means it can work out to about 7.8 billion in a target of 5 years. Move on, please. So what is the solution? Gigsboard is an enterprise B2B SaaS platform for talent discovery and project management. It's actually built by combining methods from freelancing, outsourcing, Agile, Lean, and Kanban. The talent discovery is enabled by aggregating IT services firms and IT freelancers. And what I'm targeting is IT services firms with less than 200 consultants and IT freelancers. Coupling that with a highly effective talent matching algorithm, not your traditional, Java kind of a search, but a little more complex than that, but it is automated. So it will actually give you search results in a context sensitive manner. And the project management is actually enabled through proprietary Agile PM and Kanban based project management system. Can we move on, please? And so Gigsboard essentially works like a seamless and monolithic combination of an Upwork with a Jira, a Rec Suite, a Trello, etc. built on top. So what that actually enables is the aggregation through the talent pool, the talent discovery engine, the jobs to proposals to contracts is actually very much streamlined, which means that the space where we actually lose a lot of time typically in contracting is the data collection comparison, and then bid comparison, and then the job award. So typically in any kind of a contract, you take like 2-3 months, maybe 4-5 months even, to actually move from RFP to contract. We actually can bring it down to a couple of weeks, right? The work scope management is actually enabled. Can you just go back for 1 minute, please? The work scope management is actually enabled through a RICSWIC kind of a project requirements management tool, and the project planning and control is managed through enabled through a Jira-like project management tool. And we have built-in Zoho books, etc., to actually enable financial management, intelligent governance, and so on. So basically, the entire project management workflow is, seamless and automated largely, and which makes for highly efficient project management. Move on. The competition, I'm actually looking at competing with the likes of Gigster and Distributed.co, as well as small agencies and mid-sized IT firms. But instead of competing, I'm actually enabling them to actually come together, right? So that the delivery can be more effective. The typical contract value in the range of multiples of thousands to multiples of 100K. Moving on. So the growth strategy is straightforward. Basically, at the bottom, we have the brand development using social media. We have strategic partnerships with certain communities. Those are currently in progress. We also have something called a business development partner, which is basically IT services salespeople who have significant networks, who I am inviting to Gigsboard. And basically, they will get a share of the Gigsboard earnings. Then we do inside sales via lead gen tools like Sales Navigator and Apollo, etc. And we also have built-in features for product-led growth. So we actually take feedback from people, and then we recompense them by actually giving them incentives based on the quantum of impact that the feedback is enabling. Moving on. So what is the help that I am actually looking from you? Basically, what we are doing is we are actually revamping the existing model of outsourcing, right? The traditional outsourcing, and I'm not talking about the IBMs and the Accentures and the TCSs of the world. I'm talking about the smaller players, and their engagement model is highly manual. But that's where the current behavior is, and that's where it is stuck, right? So what we are offering is a far more efficient method, but then we have to get people out of their rut and embrace this new business model. So that's not easy. The potential is huge, but the benefits are huge, but it's not easy to actually break the current logjam. So question is, how do we actually break that rut?
So let's pause for a second and tell me what is the stage of this company?
The product is
product,
actually,
or is this a concept stage company?
oh, it is a product. The product is actually launched. It was actually launched in India, and it was launched in India after significant amount of surveys and questionnaires and so on. And so when I started a fair amount of time ago, this was actually a very it was actually very positively received. And so we actually launched the product in India in 2021 June, right? And but when the sort of when the Pushko came to show, people were not actually willing to actually sign up. And in India, primarily, the
Whom were
new
you
business
going
actually,
after? I guess I have two questions. One is, how complete is this product?
the product is actually ready, and it is ready for use. I mean, it is actually working completely.
All of these functions are working. This
Yeah,
up
absolutely.
function,
Absolutely.
Jira, Trello, requisites, Slack, all functions are working?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So you've already put in a significant amount of investment into building the product.
Yeah, about 136K.
And how many people are on the team?
Currently, so initially the product was developed by another agency. who developed about 70% of it, and then we had a lot of feedback and this thing, etc. So this was actually at the time of COVID, and they actually went out of business. And so I actually hired my own team, and so currently I have 5 people in my team.
But the product is stable. You have these 5 people can maintain this product.
Yes, the 5 people can maintain the product, but I primarily am targeting small and medium businesses from the customer side, and from the service provider side, I'm targeting agencies with less than 200 consultants.
And what happened?
Oh, so basically in India, what happens is that there is a lot of lack of trust. So what happens is that customers do not really want to engage people who are from another location, because end of the day they want the ability to go and catch hold of the guy if there is a problem, right? So basically it's either the TCSs of the world who actually get the business, but that's for the larger customers, or in case of smaller customers, it is pretty much local, not necessarily eyesight, but at least, you have the ability to go and, talk to the guys, meet them, have
No,
conversations,
but
etc.
that's when both sides of the business are in India. But if you're looking at the Upwork model, it's the providers that are in India.
Right.
The customers are not in India.
Right. So in fact, what also happened is that initially we had actually won, some contests, and one of the grants that we won was from Kerala Startup Mission, and what they actually offered us was the option to actually execute all of the Kerala government IT projects via this platform. Right. So this was actually when the product was about 40% developed. By the time we actually reached 100%, what unfortunately happened was that the uh, the the CEO of KSUM, who was the person who actually awarded this job to me, he actually moved out of the role, and the next person actually did not join for about 1 year, and my grant actually sort of went flying out of the window.
So that's not where I think your focus is going to be, in the same format as Upwork, where the work is being done in India or elsewhere, and then
Right.
the customers are in the US, in Western Europe, and so forth. Now, do you have in your network a set of agencies, IT
Right. Yes.
outsourcing agencies that are in your sweet spot, these 200 people
Oh yeah.
kind of
So, I mean,
agencies?
so there are currently about 200 odd agencies who have actually signed up.
Okay.
And so what is actually happening is this. So there are people who see the value of the product that I'm building and have actually signed up. And the customer side from India, obviously, as you mentioned, it's not the right spot. And so we have actually launched Gigsboard in US in February 2023.
No, but it's not a question of launching Gigsboard in the US. If these 200 people, agencies, how many did you say you have? A couple of hundred of those in your
Exactly, yeah.
of
And
sign.
about
You
and
have
about
to
1,000
get them
freelancers.
to adopt the product, because this is project management. The key thing is project management. So you
That is
have
right.
to get them to adopt. You don't need the customers. You need them to adopt the project.
Okay, so basically, okay, I get what you're saying. So you are saying that instead of pursuing the marketplace route, pursue the project management tool route.
Yeah, first. First, you
Okay.
have to do it one by one. You have two different value propositions here. One is winning projects, the Upwork style, the marketplace style, but you don't have the two-sided marketplace. You only have one side. You don't have the two sides set up. So, but the one side that you have, if you can get all your 200 agencies to start using your project management tool, then they can put all their clients on this project management tool, and you can get the product improved, and you need a business model that will work with that. So you can kind of need to give them a SaaS business model against which they start using your product. And then once you have that side keyed in, and you have you have a group of outsourcing agencies who know how to use your product and who are believers in what you have to offer. And they put their clients in that mode and manage their clients in that mode and so on. So that then you have validation for the project management side of it. All your 200 agencies are, basically validated agencies who follow your principles of project management. Then you build the other side of the marketplace and start bringing customers on top. What you're going to build is a SaaS enabled marketplace.
Right. That is correct.
So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, basically how I have actually attracted the suppliers, the agencies to Gigsboard is by, in fact, there are a couple of, there are 4 multinational corporates who actually also showed some varying levels of interest in Gigsboard. 2 of them are very early stage. One of them is mid-level, and then there is a 4th one which is fairly advanced. And I'm actually using this as the incentive for attracting the agencies into Gigsboard. So basically, they are actually here to use Gigsboard as a BD tool rather than as primarily as a project management tool.
I think that is your major mistake. That is a positioning error. Because you don't have the ability to give them what they're coming to you for. That is your biggest mistake.
Okay.
So what I see here is a positioning mistake. This is very common positioning mistake. You kind of bring people onto your product or your platform with the value proposition which you're not able to deliver on. You do have a software here, which is primarily a project management software. You do not have a marketplace. You do not have customers who are interested in giving projects to outsourcing agencies. But if you go back and change the conversations with the outsourcing agencies and say that, hey, we have this project management tool and we want you to use this project management tool as on a SaaS basis, we're going to first build the project management tool business, get a group of customers, outsourcing agencies who are streamlined on this project management tool, and then we're going to go to customers and say that we have a stream of agencies who use tools, and as a result will be more reliable agencies, and then we will build the marketplace later. You have to be upfront, you have to be candid with your 200 outsourcing agencies and see who is willing to play this game with you, because you don't have any ability to deliver on the marketplace value proposition at the moment.
Okay. And that is a perspective that I have never actually considered. So that is definitely something that I can definitely look at.
So think about this in terms of the concept SaaS enabled marketplace. You start as a SaaS. There is a lot of precedent of this mode of developing a business. You start as a SaaS company and then become a marketplace downstream after you have built a SaaS business. So what I'm saying to you is that first build the SaaS business and then and agree with the customers that you are going to build the marketplace and you are going to make this a marketplace, a SaaS enabled marketplace. But first you need the SaaS business and you need people to be working with your project management tools, streamlined and everything, because that is what you're going to sell to the marketplace on the other side, is that there's going to be very streamlined project management, and that's why you come here and not to Upwork.
Right. Okay. That's a very interesting view of things. So let me, so I think that's a great input, Shramanath. So thanks very much for your input. And I think I'm actually pretty much done.
So there's one other thing that I'm going to tell you that is a common mistake that you're making is in market sizing.
Okay.
This is the top-down market sizing.
Right.
You need to come up with a bottom-up market sizing that is aligned to your business model. So your first change you need to make in this market sizing is that you're building a SaaS business. What is the market size of the SaaS, bottom up market size of the SaaS business? And
Oh,
then you're going to have to do a bottom up market size of the marketplace business. That's how you do market sizing. This market sizing is a mistake.
Okay, so we are just talking about the SOM right now, or we are talking about the SAM and
Everything,
TAM as well?
everything.
Okay. I mean, the SAM and the TAM are actually pretty, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean,
No, they're not. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what bottom up market sizing is. That is the problem. You
No,
need
I
to
mean,
go.
I've actually done the bottom-up market sizing, by the way. But yeah, and it obviously does not match the 7.8 billion, obviously, but that's the SOM only.
No, please do the bottom up market sizing. I cannot do your bottom up market sizing here right now, but but you have to do your bottom up market sizing. TAM, SAM, SOM, everything needs to be bottom up, not top down. This is the big problem with I see this all the time. It's one of the most common mistakes I see in the work that we do is market size errors. If you do bottom up market sizing for your specific segment, that's also bottom up market sizing needs to be segmented. It's not, the whole pie. You have a segment in which you have your TAM exists. You need to do bottom up market sizing within that, within the scope of your target segment. Your target segment is not all of outsourcing. It is not all of SMB outsourcing. It's a particular segment. So segmentation is another thing that you have to think about. So I would say there are a bunch of things we discussed in this particular pitch. We discussed issues around positioning. There are a lot of errors we see in positioning, and you have to make sure that you can deliver to the value proposition around which you're positioning. The other error I see all the time in positioning is segmentation, right? So in this case, the segmentation is 200 people, services companies, outsourcing companies. Not the mini ones, not like 5 people, 10 people outsourcing companies, not the big ones, not the Infosys TCS. It's somewhere in the middle. And and you have to define precisely what that band is. Is it 200 to what? 200 to 500 people, 200 to 1,000 people? What is that band? And then how many companies are there? And are your assumption is they're going to use your product for, for what value proposition, and within that value proposition, what is the TAM? So there are lots of errors here that you have to think about. One of them is positioning error. One of them is segmentation error within positioning. One of them is value proposition alignment error within positioning. We also have to tackle the bottom-up market analysis, market sizing versus top-down market sizing issue that also has huge consequences vis-a-vis segmentation. So this is all of these need to be addressed here.
I hear you. Okay. All right.
Okay. So there's a bunch of work to do. There is a lot of curriculum material that you can access through 1M by 1M that will help you in that process as well. I will explain a bit later how to use 1M by 1M, okay?
All right.
So stick around and we'll talk more.
Sure. Thank you. I will go on mute. Thank you.